All right, with Jamie McLennan and Darren Dreger, good to get out of the quiet studio into what will be pure bedlam here on Thursday night. First of all, your take on who will likely be in and won't be in for both sides come Thursday.
Well, if we start with the Edmonton Oilers, I think that Evander Kane is at least going to try. Whether he's available or not, that'll be determined by treatment and ultimately the coach's decision. I think especially in Game 2, we saw how ineffective he was, right? Because he just can't get down the ice. So there'll be a lineup adjustment that is made there. On defense, you've got a question mark beside Darnell Nurse, but Chris Knobloch, the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers, basically declared on the off day that Nurse will be good to go. If something changes in that regard, then automatically they'll plug in Cody Ceci. For the Florida Panthers, practice went as scheduled. Alexander Barkov appears to be good to go for Game 3, again, subject to change, but I'm told that everyone in Florida's lineup is available, so that includes Ekblad and Barkov.
So for the Oilers, besides the fact they have guys banged up and they're not scoring any goals, what's the most glaring difference you've seen in the series so far?
They've got to find a way to limit the critical errors, because that's what we saw in Game 1. They played a fantastic game, but it was two critical errors that cost them goals against and eventually the game. And in Game 2, I thought there was missed assignments, lost puck battles, and in the end, you give up goals because of that. So if you limit the critical errors, because the Florida Panthers aren't making those, and if they're making small errors, there's cover-ups, where in Edmonton, you haven't been able to cover up and the goaltender hasn't been able to really wipe the slate clean.
So when you add those to an anemic offense and a power play that's supposed to be potent, that's doing nothing, is that what adds and leads to the frustration you saw from the Oilers at the end of Game 2?
Yeah, I think there's no doubt about that. And I think the frustration was also emphasized that Edmonton wasn't able to pick up where they left off in Game 1. They thought that they played well in Game 1. They obviously didn't generate any offense, but lots of quality chances that disappeared in Game 2. Now the frustration comes in the game of Leon Draisaitl, the penalty that he took, getting his hands high on Barkov. The fact post-game that he owned it, said that he needs to be better. So I think you're going to see maybe a more simple game in Edmonton in Game 3. They don't have to outskill the Florida Panthers. And I think we saw that in Game 2 as well. Connor McDavid, the dipsy doodle approach in the offensive zone, where it appears that he's looking for Draisaitl when Draisaitl's on that line, or Nuge or Hyman in front, rather than just putting more pucks on net.
So you're desperate for something positive if you're the Oilers, and it's easy to get frustrated by Bobrovsky and the fact he's in the zone. But is there anything they can take out of the fact Bobrovsky's been terrific, best player on the ice the first 2 games, but has he had some luck, and have they had some missed chances that weren't because of Bobrovsky, that they can sort of feel at some point one of these is going to go off a crossbar and in instead of out?
Absolutely. When you're in the zone, and Sergei Bobrovsky is stopping 50 for 51 right now, he's been dominant, but he has gotten a little bit of puck luck, and that happens as a goaltender. I'm a goaltender hugger. I'm happy for him. But that being said, the Edmonton Oilers can draw on the fact that, yes, last game they had 3 posts and a crossbar. They're all around it, especially on the power play. Game 1, a couple missed wide open nets, RNH, Hyman. So they're getting the chances, getting the looks. Bobrovsky, he's been fantastic, but he is getting a little bit of puck luck. That's what the Edmonton Oilers have to focus on, is generating those chances and looks on him.
And it sounds like Corey Perry is going to draw into the lineup. How? We don't know. I mean, could it be in place of Evander Kane if he's not healthy enough to go? Is there another lineup adjustment? But we know what Corey Perry is. He's a specialist when it comes to getting under the skin or trying to take the eyes away from the goalie.
What Bobrovsky and the Panthers have done is rare. The last time a team allowed 1 goal or fewer in the first 2 games of a Stanley Cup Final, the Detroit Red Wings in 2008, who shut out the Penguins in the first 2 games. That will be tested, Bobrovsky and the Florida D, in what should be a madhouse here on Thursday night.
So how dialed in has Sergei Bobrovsky been to begin the Stanley Cup Final? Well, he is just the 7th goaltender in the modern era to allow fewer than 2 goals against through the opening 2 games. If Florida can hold Edmonton under 2 goals again in Game 3, that would be their 4th straight such effort and would set a franchise playoff record.